Sagittarius, as the month begins, it is still your season and the emphasis is still on you. This month in particular, you guys are going to experience a huge transformation that's going to change your outlook on life and your attitude. And it's going to color and influence how you move in the future. The emphasis is on move because you guys have a lot of initiation energy this month. You are all about starting new things and having new adventures as only you can. If you want to know more, keep watching and I'll explain all about it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mel of Divine Feminine Works, and I am here to help you uncover your divinity and discover your magic. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell, so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. And speaking of content, head over to Instagram and follow me over there at Divine Feminine Works. Every day I've got a ton of tarot, manifestation, astrology content that will really help you out. So follow me over there so you don't miss out on any of that good stuff. All right, so this is going to be the Astro Forecast and Tarot Scope for the month of December 2021. I don't know about you, but I'm still kind of blown that it is December of 2021. I felt like 2021 sounded so futuristic, it sounds so far away, and now we are at the tail end of it. And can't say I'm mad about that. I mean, I'm ready to move on, hopefully to bigger and better things. And I believe that 2022 is going to give us just that. But before I get ahead of myself, it's time to talk about the here and now. And as always, you know the deal. We start with the astrology. So the theme of this month, if we had to sum up December in one sort of short, concise sentence, it would be when one door closes, another opens. That's sort of how this month is playing out. Because we begin the month right in the thick of eclipse season. So 2 weeks ago, we had a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. And then right at the beginning of December, we have a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius. So eclipses are the universe's way of sort of cleaning things up in our lives and in society in general. So eclipses either take things out of our lives or put things in. It's the universe's way of setting order. And so when we have this kind of energy, it's sort of like you not only have to roll with the punches, but you have to be open to receiving and letting go of what you want on the one hand and what no longer serves you on the other. And that's pretty much how this month is going to go. Again, the highlight of this month is the new moon solar eclipse. But another way to think about this month, or another way to look at this month, is that there's a lot of movement this month, a lot of energy shifts. So we have 4 planets that are actually changing signs. We've got 2 planets that are changing directions, and we have an eclipse. So if you find that at the end of the month, if you're sort of assessing how December was for you, and you feel like December sort of had you feeling unsettled, a little bit unstable, that's because things are shifting and moving around. And that energy actually started last month in November with the eclipse, okay? So it's, like I said before, it's really about rolling with the punches and sort of letting things, let the chips fly, let things sort of move as they need to, and then sort of assess and get a lay of the land, all right? So let's go through the month chronologically and see what we've got. So we open up the month with the planet Neptune going direct in its home sign of Pisces. So Neptune was retrograde from June 25th of this year, and now it is turning direct. And we all know that when a planet goes retrograde, it's like you sort of take the energy and the characteristics of that planet and you direct it inward. So instead of things being directed outward in your life, you're taking a hard look at yourself, you're reflecting, you're remembering, you're doing all of that with respect to that particular planet's energy. So Neptune is all about fantasy. It's all about illusion. It's about love. It's about dreams, those kind of things. And so when Neptune went retrograde back in June, all of that stuff kind of went out the window. Neptune retrograde allows you to see the realness, the harshness, and the ugliness of life. And trust and believe, I think we can all agree that we've really been seeing that. Definitely over the last couple of years, but specifically as Neptune has been retrograde, we've been seeing things for what they really are. The rose-colored glasses come off and we see life as it is. But now that Neptune is going direct, now we're going to be able to take what we've learned while Neptune was retrograde and apply that to life and be optimistic. Regardless of what we've seen, the harshness and ugliness of life, I feel like now we're able to move forward and we can dream again. We can have high hopes. We can be optimistic despite the reality of, life. But you sort of take that, it's like you take the things that you've learned while Neptune was retrograde and you apply it to, your life going forward, but you're more optimistic, you're more hopeful. All right. So that's really how Neptune direct is going to affect us. And it all depends on where that falls in your chart. Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces. So its energy is extra potent. It's great for creative endeavors. It's great for us to recognize and appreciate humanity on a collective level. It's about being selfless, compassionate, empathic. So all of these things are going to we're going to be able to feel those things again. Okay. So that's how we start out the month. And then the star of the month is, like I said, the new moon solar eclipse happening in the sign of Sagittarius, and that's going down on Saturday, December 4th. So new moons are all about new beginnings, and a new moon solar eclipse is a new beginning in a very big way. It's like a new moon on steroids. This particular solar eclipse, I should say, really is about like an ending and a beginning wrapped up in one. That's kind of why I said the theme for this month is when one door closes, another opens. On the one hand, not only is this the final eclipse in the Gemini Sagittarius cycle that we've kind of been going through for the last 18 months or so, it's also happening at the 12th degree. And the 12th degree is the Pisces degree. And as we know, Pisces is the final sign in the zodiac. So there's a certain element of finality with this particular eclipse. So like I said, something is going to end and something is going to begin sort of simultaneously. Although you're not going to feel it right in the moment. It's not like Saturday is going to get here and you're going to be like, okay, something ends, something begins, I'm done. This energy is fluid and it's definitely playing out over the next couple of months. So be prepared for things to sort of shift within that time frame. This new moon solar eclipse allows us to have a clean slate and a fresh start, and it eclipses things into our lives. So I don't know about you, but at the time of the full moon lunar eclipse last month, I experienced a lot of endings. People that I was close to, someone that I was very close to passed away. Things were very jarring, things were sort of being eclipsed out. Now at this new moon solar eclipse, you may notice that things are being eclipsed in, things are being added to your life. People may be coming in, you may be going to a new place, experiencing new things, especially being in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius likes to live large and in charge. It's all about adventure, broadening your horizons. So it's going to be this very expansive new beginning. There's also going to be an element of limitation and unexpected happenings with this new moon solar eclipse because we've got Uranus and Saturn in the mix. And I'm going to do a separate video on these eclipses generally and go more into the astrology of each particular eclipse. But just know that things may be a little difficult. Things, Saturn is an energy of limitation, of obstacles. It's also of endings also, and karma. So you may find that things are finally wrapping up in a particular area of your life, only for a new door to open and a new adventure, to embark upon. So that's sort of how this eclipse is playing out. All right. So moving right along, we have Mercury entering into Capricorn on December 13th. And Mercury in Capricorn is very serious. Our thoughts, our communications become serious, practical, down to earth. We become more focused and think more about work, being disciplined, perhaps overcoming obstacles, A lot of what we talk to people about and a lot of what we think about centers around work. It centers around serious matters. So that's how Mercury in Capricorn is going to play out. And again, that's going down on December 13th. That same day, December 13th, Mars is going to be moving into the sign of Sagittarius. Mars being a fire sign and moving into a fire sign makes Mars sort of extra happy. And this is really about, we become motivated by our desire to act according to our ideals and beliefs. Sagittarius, apart from just, ruling long distance travel, higher education, Sagittarius is all about expanding our minds, and it's also about faith, belief, and spirituality. And so now Mars being a very action-oriented planet, a planet that is concerned with initiation, we're going to want to move according to what we believe in and what we have faith in, and being very strong and convicted in those beliefs. Additionally, we'll want to start new adventures, blaze new trails, start new projects, initiate a whole bunch of things on a very grand scale, right? The only thing you'll have to keep in mind is that Mars in Sagittarius is like great for starting things, but not necessarily finishing. So you may have all of these projects that you start. You may have multiple projects, or you may have one big project. It's going to be very important for you to keep your level of motivation high, because in the beginning, you're going to be really fired up. You're going to be like, yes, I want to do this. Let's do it. Let's go for it. And then shortly thereafter, you're going to be like, whatever, or it goes by the wayside or anything like that. So that's definitely going to be something that you're going to be mindful of when Mars enters Sagittarius. All right, so moving right along, we have the full moon in Gemini going down on December 18th. And obviously, if you've watched any of my videos before, you already know that full moons illuminate. Full moons are either the culmination of a manifestation, or they illuminate something that's been hidden. Gemini rules communication, it rules siblings, it rules extended family members, short distance travel, business, sort of your everyday busy body kind of energy is what Gemini is. And so with this, you're going to find that you'll probably either be really busy around this full moon, your communication with people is going to ramp up, you may be taking short distance trips, maybe you planned a short distance trip sometime prior and now you're finally going on it. You may find that something that you thought about back at the new moon in Gemini back in June now is coming to fruition. You may find that just your general environment is just busy. That's sort of how this full moon is going to play out. And again, that is on December 18th. Moving right along, the next day on December 19th, we have Venus going retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So Venus in Capricorn is very serious as well. Just like I spoke about Mercury in Capricorn being serious, Venus is the same thing, but its energy is more focused on relationships, money, things that we value, aesthetics, beauty, comfort, luxury. All of those things become very serious, very tangible, and very down to earth. Venus in Capricorn is the energy that's going to get you to save money to buy a big ticket item. It's going to have you make a plan of action to redo your house, have a relationship. It's very practical, diligent, and down to earth. That's when Venus is direct in Capricorn. So now when Venus is retrograde in Capricorn, we take that energy and we direct it inward. So this really becomes what are the things that I value in my life? What is important to me? What are the criteria that I need to be in a relationship? Everything that Venus is about, we direct that inward. And being in Capricorn, we take a very practical, down-to-earth focus to it. Even creativity becomes very much more practical. How do I do things? How do I make money from what I create? What values are important to me in relationships with respect to assets? What's fair in my life? Am I being fair to myself? So that Venusian energy, everything Venus is going to be directed inward when Venus goes retrograde. And again, that's on December 19th. Moving right along, on December 21st, Capricorn season officially begins when the sun moves into Capricorn. So there's a lot of Capricorn energy this month. So if you feel like December is really sort of heavy, it's sort of not very exciting. I mean, the holidays are around, so there's that certain element to that. But maybe you think about the holidays in terms of how much money am I spending? How much overtime do I have to work in order to buy people presents? Those are the sort of Capricorn like thoughts that are characteristic of the sun in Capricorn. We become very disciplined. Work becomes a real thing. We focus on getting things done in a practical, down-to-earth sort of way. Our status in life becomes something that we become concerned about. Business, all of those sort of mundane, practical things are what are characteristic of Capricorn season. And again, that begins on December 21st when the sun moves into Capricorn. And then finally, we close out the month with Jupiter heading into its home sign of Pisces. Jupiter in Pisces is like love, an overdose of love. Jupiter is all about expansion and growth, right? And so Jupiter in Pisces is really about expanding our awareness of spirituality, compassion, and love, but love on a grander scale. It's not like how you love your parent, how you love your child, how you love your spouse or your significant other. It's how you love humanity. Your love grows and your love expands, right? You start to, Pisces is a very intuitive sign. It's a very sensitive sign and an empathic sign. So whenever there is a planet in Pisces, particularly Jupiter, we feel other people's emotions. We feel sensitive, compassionate, and empathic towards other people in a very big way, which is great because that helps us understand people and just spread love, right? But the thing with Pisces is that it can be a lot and it can be overwhelming. And so in feeling everything on a grand scale, you really may have the tendency to lose yourself. You start taking on other people's emotions, taking on other people's shit, and you get lost in the sauce essentially. And with Pisces, the symbol for Pisces being fish, you're sort of literally lost in the sauce, right? So with Jupiter in Pisces, what's going to be really important is for you to feel everything, right? But also take the time and extra room to feel for yourself. So you're going to have to close off to the world at times, rest, recharge, and get back to yourself, because there's going to be a tendency to lose yourself. There's going to be a tendency to really, like I said, get lost in the sauce. So that is December in a nutshell. If you want to know more about what December has to offer, you can either check out the horoscopes, which are on my website, link in the description box below, or you can get a personal horoscope that is designed specifically for you. Whether it's 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months, you can figure out what December, or any other month for that matter, is going to look specifically for you. And if you want to order that, that link is in the description box as well. All right, so Sagittarius, first and foremost, happy birthday. I sincerely hope that this new revolution around the sun brings you everything that your heart truly desires. I hope that you have a new year that is filled with abundance, joy, great health, wealth, love, blessings, and everything that you could possibly want. So again, happy birthday and turn up, all right? It's your season. It's your season. You guys are about to have a really transformative experience. And I say that because you've got a great emphasis on your first house of self, all right? So we start out the month with the sun in your sign, right? Which is also in your first house. We've got the new moon solar eclipse happening in your first house. Mercury starts out in your first house. It's going to transition into your second house, but then Mars is also going to transit into your first house. So you've got a lot of energy around yourself. The way you think, the way that you act, your personality, your emotions, all of these things are shifting and changing and moving around this month because, again, you've got a crazy first house emphasis, which is a great thing. Normally when it's your season, when it's your solar return, you always have this sort of energy of renewal of self. It's your personal new year. You want to get things done, but especially with a solar eclipse in your first house, it's almost like you're undergoing this complete personal transformation. I feel like by the time 2022 begins, you're going to be completely different. And that could be a really great thing because you're going to have new things that are going to be sort of injected into your life via the solar eclipse. Your thought patterns are going to change. The way that you act is going to change. It's really good for you, right? So December is really about taking action for you because the the houses that are lit for you this month are your first house, second house, fourth house, and seventh house. Now, the first house, the fourth house, and the seventh house, they are the cardinal houses, and those are the houses of initiation. So for a lot of you, not only are you changing on a personal level, but your very foundation, your home is changing, and your relationships are changing, all right? So let me sort of take this step by step so you understand what I mean. So like I said, beginning of the month, the sun is in your first house. The sun is in your sign. I sort of went over that. Now, once Capricorn season begins, your thoughts are going to change towards your money, particularly your stability, okay? Your status, the things that you have, your assets, all of those things are going to come into your purview once the sun moves into Capricorn. We also have Mercury, which is going to be moving into Capricorn, which is going to direct your thoughts towards being more disciplined, getting down to work, making more money, having a better social standing. All of those things are going to happen once Mercury moves into Capricorn. We also have Venus that's been hanging out in Capricorn since last month, and Venus is going to go retrograde. So particularly for you, you are really going to be focused on your values. What are they? What do they mean to you? What kind of criteria do you have for the things that you want in your life, etc. Okay. And we still have Pluto there. So all of your values and even your money have been undergoing this great change for quite some time. And with the sun moving into your second house come Capricorn season, that change and that transformation, you're going to start to see it. You're going to start to notice it. It's going to become a part of your conscious reality. And then we've got your fourth house, which is your house of home and domestic affairs. And that is actually going to receive a lot of energy this month because Jupiter is going to be entering there as well as Neptune going direct. Okay. So when it comes to your home, domestic affairs, I feel like you're going to have a more optimistic and a more hopeful outlook towards that with Neptune going direct. You're going to be able to perhaps be more loving or receive more love from family members. When it comes to things like real estate, home, your living situation, I feel like you're going to be able to be more creative. So now would be a great time to redecorate, get more things into your home. And also, if you're looking to purchase a home, change residences, I feel like you're going to be more optimistic about that. Okay. And with Jupiter going into your fourth house as well, you're going to be able to do these things in a very big way. It's going to be expansive. So for some of you, your family may expand. Family may be having children, new family members, people getting married. Your family may be expanding. Your home may be expanding. This may be the time to upgrade, to buy a bigger home. This may be the time to move to a different place. It's all about expansion and growth on the home front for you, with Jupiter in Pisces in your fourth house and Neptune also going direct in your fourth house. And then finally, we have an emphasis on your seventh house of relationships with the full moon in Gemini, which is happening on December 18th. So full moons illuminate. So now may be the time for you to be taking action with respect to any information that you gain at the full moon. So perhaps, full moons are all about the culmination of things being manifested, right? So perhaps maybe in June, you decided to get into a relationship. Now you may be taking an action to take it to the next step. That could be either getting engaged, moving in together, just being more serious and committed. On the other hand, depending on what illuminates at the full moon, you may decide that it's time to cut things off, break up, that sort of thing. This also may be the time where things become illuminated, like I said. So you may learn something about your partner. You may learn something about your particular relationship. And again, that's going to spark you to take action. I want you to realize that for you in particular, December is all about taking action and initiating things, okay? So you may be taking action with respect to your relationships, like I said, with that seventh house emphasis. You may be taking action at home with that fourth house emphasis, or you may be taking action with respect to your person, your appearance, your outlook on life, your attitude with that first house emphasis. The second house emphasis that I also mentioned before is really about stabilizing your assets, stabilizing your values, stabilizing the things that you want and the things that you have in this life. All right. So that is pretty much the astrology for you, Sagittarius, for December. Now that we've gotten the astrology out of the way, let's get into the tarot and see what messages the Spirit has for you this month. All right, Sag, so you know the deal. We're going to do 3 different messages, 1 general, 1 love, and 1 career. So without further ado, let's get into it. Start with the general message first. General message for Sag for December 2021. Okay. All right. We've got fork in the road. So this denotes that there's a decision that you have to make. You've come to a crossroads. You've come to an impasse, and it's time for you to make a decision. For some, I believe that it has to do with your stability. So it might have to do with a job. It might have to do with money, with property. But it's sort of root chakra kind of emphasis. Okay. So yeah, I feel like you may have many options at the moment and you're trying to decide which way to go, which way makes more sense, which way gives you more money. This is definitely give me second house energy. So I feel like come Capricorn season, at least after December 21st, this is sort of when this is going to come into play. Especially with, Venus going retrograde in Capricorn, which is your second house of money and material possessions. I feel like at that time, you're going to be reassessing everything like, okay, what makes financial sense? Maybe I should start saving for something. Maybe I should forego buying this and putting the money in the bank or investing the money. I feel like that's sort of the vibe that Capricorn season is going to have for you in a general sense. But let's get some more cards on here and see what else we got. Oops, that's too many. Okay. All right. So we've got the moon, and the moon is all about fear. It's about fear. It's about, it's very Piscean energy. Okay. And so for some of you, I'm getting that this does have to do with property, or it may have to do with a home, and you may be afraid that you may not be able to afford it. You may feel like you may lose it, and you may sort of be inundated in these emotions related to the thoughts that you have about your home security. Okay. It's very important that you don't allow these fears to overtake you. It's very important that you don't allow your emotions to sort of sidetrack you from what it is that you really want and what it is that you really want to have. Some of you may be feeling like your job may not be secure, your income may not be secure. You're sort of getting inundated in these feelings with respect to either lack or anything like that. And you sort of need to get out of that. That is where your mind is going to come into play. And particularly with Mercury going into Capricorn this month, rather than just feeling, okay, I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to be stable or secure, if money's still going to come in. Think of a master plan and execute it. Change your beliefs about what you think about money, what you think about assets, what you think about security, and then it'll change. But you have to make that decision. It's about making a decision to be abundant, making a decision to be wealthy, making a decision to be secure, and then acting in accordance with that decision. Okay. Let's get one more card on this general message. Oh, that just flew out. All right. Change. I love this card, right? You see this, like, it's like a buggy and it's moving. Every time this card comes out, I hear the theme song from the Jeffersons, moving on up to the east side to a big house apartment in the sky. I don't know, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? So some of you are actually moving. Some of you are moving up in life. You know, Capricorn rules social status. So some of you your social status may be elevated. You're going to be making more money so you can move to a nicer place. Remember, I said that you guys have a big emphasis, especially on your fourth house, because Jupiter and Neptune are there. So basically, the general message for you this month is be optimistic, because your home situation, your home is going to expand in a very positive sort of way. Okay. So you don't need to be fearful. You don't need to think negative thoughts or have negative self-talk regarding this. Things are going to change in a good way. You are moving on up. All right. Now let's get to the love message and see what we got for you. This is love for Sagittarius, December 2021. All right. Oh, it's beautiful. Love. What number is this? This is a 4 and a 0, which makes 4. Again, this is about stability. So there is a love in your life that is stable, okay? And this is giving me very 7th house vibes. Like I said, you guys have an emphasis this month on the 1st house, 2nd house, 4th house, and 7th house. So the 7th house is the house of relationships. And I feel like there is a solid love that you are either going to initiate this month or that is going to step up a level. right? The full moon in Gemini is going to illuminate your relationships and you're going to see how things really are, okay? And with that information, you can decide to change your situation. So if your relationship is already stable, secure, loving, committed, now may be the time to initiate. Now may be the time to initiate a new level up, right? Move on to the next level. If the full moon illuminates some fuck shit, or the fact that you're not being loved, that you're being cheated on, or any of those things, now it's time to make the decision and take action. Like I said, you guys have very action-oriented energy this month. Take the action to let that go and initiate something where you can have stable, secure love, okay? Let's get some more cards on here. Love. Yeah, we've got the Page of Cups, all right? So this is a new relationship I'm seeing, or is a new level in relationships. I want you to look at this card very carefully. You see this here in the corner? It's like a pig with wings, right? And you know that expression, like when someone feels like there's something unbelievable happening, they'll be like, oh, if they can't fathom something happening, they'll be like, oh, what'll happen when pigs fly? Well, guess what? Pigs are flying now. So the impossible, or what you deem to be impossible, is now possible. So you may have a turnaround in your relationship, or you just may have a new relationship that feels impossible. If you've been feeling like you can't find a good man or a woman, if you feel like you haven't been able to find the relationship that you've always wanted, I feel like now you're going to be able to have that opportunity. But you know why you're going to be able to have that opportunity? Because you are undergoing a personal transformation. Remember, I said your first house is lit this month. And with the solar eclipse happening in your first house, you guys are going to be a completely different person. And in being that different person, you're going to be able to have and sustain relationships that reflect this new person that you are. So what you may have thought was impossible before is definitely possible now. All right, let's get another card here. Okay. We've got Thief. Interesting. I'm getting two different things here. Okay. One, don't let anybody rob you of your joy. And this isn't necessarily literally robbing you. Although for some, you need to be careful of people sort of pickpocketing you, or just keep a close eye on your assets. But don't allow anyone to rob you of your imagination. You know, I just said that this is the moment where pigs fly. The impossible is now possible, right? So don't let anyone be a wet blanket at your picnic. Don't let anyone say, no, that's not possible. No, you can't have that. Fuck what they have to say. It's irrelevant. The possible is possible right now, particularly with your relationships. For others of you, some of y'all are involved with somebody's husband or somebody's wife. Like there is a third party situation going on here. And I feel like that has been, I'm sorry, if you see me rubbing my nose a lot, whenever I do readings, it's like, there's like a feather under my nose that's tickling me. So forgive me if you see me doing that. For some of you, the instability you've been having in relationships is the fact that there's been a third party situation. You've been in some sort of triangle. You've been dealing with someone who's dealing with someone, or you're dealing with someone and then dealing with someone else. Stability is sort of neutralizing that, right? We have no third party situations here. So let's say you've been dating someone who has someone else, right? And you're like, you've been thinking, oh, this is not going to happen. You know, they're with somebody else or married to someone else. It may just be the case that they end up leaving who they're with, or who they're with finds someone else who's more suitable for them. And now it's like finally possible for you to have that stable relationship you've always wanted. Okay. So keep that in mind. And that doesn't resonate for everybody, but I have a feeling it resonates for quite a few people out there. So take that as you will. All right. Now let's move on to career and close out this reading and see what we got here. All right. Ooh, interesting. I want you guys to, let me show you the card first. This is the Anchor. When you think of anchors, what do you think? You think of something grounded. You think of something stable. So the major theme that's running through your life this month is stability. You've got stability with respect to your assets and your values, stability with respect to love, and now we have stability with respect to career. When something is anchored, it cannot go adrift, right? It's stuck. It's stable until you decide to lift anchor and set sail, right? So for some of you, you have a job that is stable. You might be getting a job that is stable. For others of you, you have this energy, like your emotional state with respect to your career is very stable, but it's also maybe stuck. What do I mean by that? Meaning that if you've been feeling like your job sucks, you don't like it, you're stuck where you're at. If you have a lot of negative emotions with respect to your career, then I see more of that happening this month. Like your emotions are very rooted in whatever you've been believing about your career and your job. All right, let's get some more cards and see what else we have here. Oh, they are just flying out right now. Now, I usually don't read reversals, but for some reason I'm being called to read reversals. This is the 10 of Swords in reverse. You are stuck. Some of you are stuck in this round and round negative thinking about your career. Like things aren't going to get better. I'm not going to get that job. I'm stuck. I'm not going to get a promotion. I'm not going to get a raise. So a lot of you are really stuck in this like shitty emotional state when it comes to your career. And, you know, you kind of need to get out of that. I feel like the eclipse in your first house is going to change your outlook, your attitude. And I feel like you're going to be able, you're going to have the ability to get out of this rut, this emotional rut that you've been in with respect to your career, but only if you decide to. I see some of you are going to be stubborn and you guys are still going to feel the same way. I feel like some of you are going to be like, well, it's not going to change. It's whatever. But think about it this way. We're about to end another year. A new year is about to begin. There's no time like the present to start thinking differently and have different things in your life. Holding on to these emotions, holding on to these negative thoughts or continuing this negative self-talk with respect to your career, it hasn't served you well before. So what makes you think it's going to serve you well going forward? It's really about time that you decide that you want better and do better. Okay. Let's get one more card here to close out this reading. And again, this is for career. Ooh, okay. I feel like something is either going to slip out of your hands or fall apart. Let's see. Toil and labor. Interesting. So you feel very like laborious. You're not inspired when it comes to work. I feel like you're just going through the motions, going through the routine. I feel like you're working hard but not seeing results. And that's because you're still stuck. Your thoughts about your career suck. Your emotions about your career suck. And so your career just sucks, or it has. And I don't say that to be flippant. I don't say that to be rude. I'm saying that because I feel like that's the reality of the situation for many of you. But the message here is not that this is how it's going to be. The message is that this is how it's going to be and continue to be if you don't change. If you don't change your thoughts, if you don't change your attitude about how your work is, how your career is, then that's what you're going to have. But if you allow the energy of the eclipse and all of the energy that's in your first house this month to really change you for the better, to be more optimistic, then this can change. This can completely turn around, but you have to decide that that's how you want it to be. Okay, Sag? So stability is a theme for you this month, whether it's career, whether it's general, whether it's love. Being stable and secure is something that's going to be a focus for you. And that's really because Venus retrograde in Capricorn is going to make you realize and make you reflect on what it is that you value, what makes you feel secure and stable. And that is sort of how that's sort of going to color your month. And it's going to color your outlook on how you move forward this month and in the future. Stability in all areas of your life can be yours. You just have to make the decision to want it. All right, my loves, that has been the Astro Forecast and Taroscope for the month of December 2021. I sincerely hope and affirm that you were able to get at least one important message from this reading. Speaking of readings, if you'd like to book a personal tarot reading with me or order a personalized astrology report, those links are in the description box below, so don't forget to check those out. And while you're checking things out, don't forget to hit up my website, sign up for my newsletter. I give a whole bunch of free content on a regular basis, so sign up everywhere you can so you never miss out. All right, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.